Hi, this is Gershon Albert, member of the RCA and Vice President of the West Coast and International Region. Moshe tries to justify and make a very difficult case in this week's Parsha, which is why Bnei Israel should continue to keep the mitzvot of the Torah when he's not going to be there to guide them anymore in Eretz Yisrael. And we see him give a list of justifications that the Netziv picks up on and asks about the specific ordering of these reasons. And if you'd like to follow this, it's in chapter 4, Psukim Vav through Yud, verses 6 through 10. So the first reason that Moshe gives for why we should keep the Torah in Eretz Yisrael is Ushmartem asitem ki hi chochmatchem uvinatchem leinei amim. You should guard these mitzvot and do them because they're your wisdom and your understanding in the eyes of the nations. So reason number one is that it brings you and it elevates you through wisdom, through chachma and bina. The second is Kimi goy gadol asher lo elokim krovim elav. What other nation has a God who is so close to it? Kashem Elokeinu b'chol korinu elav, like God is when we call out to Him. So reason number two is that when you do the mitzvot, it brings you closer to a sense of imminence and proximity to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. And then reason number three is Umi goy gadol asher lo chukim umishpatim tzadikim. What other great nation has laws and ordinances that are tzadikim, that are righteous? Like this entire Torah that I give you today. So Moshe's first three reasons for why we should keep the Torah are, first, it will elevate you through wisdom, through chachma, you'll live a more cognitively powerful life. And then second, it brings you close to God. And third, it helps you live lives that are not only wise and not only close to God, but lives that are righteous, lives that are filled with justice, with tzedek. And then after those first three reasons, the positive reasons, Moshe gives a negative reason or a negative comment. He tells them, Rak hishamer lecha ushmor nafshecha me'od. You should be very careful and guard your soul very much. Pen tishkach et advarim asher ra'u einecha, lest you forget the things that your eyes themselves saw. What are those things? The next verse says, Yom asher amadata lifnei Hashem Elokecha b'chorev. The day that you stood before God, your Lord, at Chorev, at Mount Sinai. So the Netziv, Rav Naftali Tzvi Yehuda Berlin, in his Ha'amek Davar, asks that the ordering of these psukim seems odd. Why do we finish with "Don't forget what you saw at Mount Sinai"? That should really be the opening. Don't forget what you saw at Mount Sinai, and then keep the Torah for the following reasons. So why do we finish with "Don't forget what you saw at Sinai"? So he has a powerful answer that is based in the idea that when we get caught up in the halachic minutia of observance of the mitzvot, we can forget the why, the reason, the philosophy behind it. And what Moshe here was trying to do was to tell us that there are all these reasons why you should keep the mitzvot of the Torah, but don't forget the big picture. And the big picture comes last because it includes everything else within it. Right? Of course, living a life of Torah and mitzvot can bring you a higher level of wisdom, especially through limud Torah, through learning Torah. And it can make you feel close to Hashem, and it can make you live righteous lives. But what the Netziv writes is, V'nei HaKadosh Baruch Hu ratza la'ashrish b'shas matan Torah yirat Hashem b'leiv Yisrael. What God ultimately wanted to do at the time of giving us the Torah at Har Sinai was to root within the hearts of every Jew the Torah itself. He wanted to enroot himself, kivyachol, through the Torah in our lives. And that's why Matan Torah itself was a moment of kolot uvrakim, of loud sounds and thunder and lightning. Right? All of that was supposed to create a sense of yira, of awesomeness and fear, of experiencing God in a palpable way. Kadei sheyev hamamad hanifla mitziyar b'nefesh le'olam, so that moment, that awesome moment, should be engraved and etched in our souls forever, so that we should have from this a yirat Hashem. And here I think the Netziv means more than just a fear of God, but a sense of awe that God is always with us, that's ingrained in us from that moment. And therefore, according to the Netziv, right, God commanded us to guard our bodies and our souls. And he says a powerful thing, Shelo yehei esek pilpula shel Torah, gorem chalila lishkoach et hadvarim asher ra'u einecha. Don't let your endeavoring in the argumentation or the minutia of halacha, right, in that lumdus that we call it today, don't let that, God forbid, make you forget what the last pasuk says, asher, the things, hadvarim asher ra'u einecha, the things that you saw, which is that you saw God speak to you. You saw God give you these aseret hadvarim, these 10 utterances, yotzot be'emsaot nitzotot eish v'lapidim, that came out through the intermediaries of fire and lightning bolts. The thing that we're supposed to remember more than anything else is that the Torah is a personal experience of Hashem in our lives. And the Netziv writes, and the Netziv was a famous Rosh Yeshiva, not kind of a hippie on the top of a hill strumming a guitar, but the Netziv says that we have to be careful in our experience of Torah, that we don't forget that Torah is not just a means to wisdom or to raising our SAT scores. The Torah is not just a way to feel good about our connection with God in some abstract sense, and it's not just about living lives of justice. The ultimate purpose of Torah is to feel that yira, that sense of awesomeness, that sense of standing before Hashem, that as a nation we experienced at Har Sinai. The ultimate purpose of Torah is to feel God as a palpable presence in our lives. A few years ago, I came across a critique of Orthodox Judaism by a non-Orthodox theologian, where he said the following. In the Orthodox world, in a really interesting way, is the realization that Orthodoxy is at least as atheological as any other community in America. Atheological is not atheist, though there's that too. There's very much a profound atheology in American Orthodoxy, where halakha becomes the only discourse, where questions of what's really true in the end become marginalized. And I think that's a valid critique for us to consider and to try to work into what we do as Rabbanim, what we do as rabbis, whether we're in pulpits or whether we're working in the community in other capacities, that we always have to remember what the end goal is. And halakha, learning Torah in a deep and cognitively complex way, is a beautiful means to an end. We can never mix up what the means is with what the end is. And the end is a sense of yira, a sense of awe and fear and experience of Hashem. Yira is closely related to the word of re'iyah, of vision. And last week, through Shabbat Chazon, a Shabbos of vision, and through Tisha B'Av, I think it's a palpable moment of feeling God's presence, specifically through its absence. And we're about to come to Shabbos Nachamu, which is a Shabbos where God says, I'm going to comfort you along with me. We were sitting Shiva together for the Beis HaMikdash last week, and this week we're going to comfort each other and give each other kivyachol, a spiritual hug. May we all feel that sense of God close to us in a palpable way, just like our ancestors felt at Har Sinai, at Mount Sinai, when God appeared to them in the most imminent way possible. And I think it's a powerful lesson for us to remember that we can't hide away from God talk, from speaking about the Ribono Shel Olam as the ultimate means of why we do everything we do. That's what Moshe was trying to remind the Jewish people, that you do the Torah for many reasons, but the ultimate reason is because it brings you a sense of the closeness and the awesomeness that it means to have Hashem in your life. May we, God willing, focus on bringing more of that sense of theology, of the proximity of God to us in our lives, particularly as we exit the weeks of Bein HaMetzarim and enter the weeks leading towards Rosh Hashanah. May we all be blessed to work on that and feel the presence of Hashem on Rosh Hashanah, where we declare that Hamelech, that the King is really here before us. Shabbat Shalom. Have a great week.